Welcome to the podcast. We Do Recover with Jared Miller, your host.
And I'm Dr. Terry Sellers, your co-host.
This is a podcast about recovery from addiction.
We want to talk about what successful recovery can look like.
Brought to you by High Desert Counseling, Rise Up Supplements, and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn.
Listeners, welcome to another episode of We Do Recover. I'm your host of this thing, Jared Miller. Sadly, my co-host, my guy, my friend, the Doc Sellers, he had some automobile problems. He wasn't able to make it down today. We wish him the best. However, I do have two legendary guests here. Joining me via Skype, Chaz Smith, a.k.a. Colicchie. Chaz, how you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm good, brother. Good. And Joe Nester. Joe, how's it going, man?
Oh, man, things are going great, man.
Good.
Excited to be on here.
I'm excited to have you guys. So I'm just hoping this one's just kind of like a relaxed chill. Let's talk about life, your guys' life today, some music, some upcoming events that we have in the state of Utah, my hometown, and we'll just rock and roll and have a good time with it. Sound good?
Absolutely.
Sounds great.
Sweet. Okay, so first of all, episode 121 is brought to us by High Desert Counseling. High Desert Counseling is a progressive substance abuse treatment facility with a practical approach. They offer day treatment, morning and evening IOP, continuation of care, and Prime for Life programs. Check out their website at highdesert.help or give them a call at 435-673-2899. Their facilities are located in St. George and Cedar City, Utah. Episode 122 is also brought to us by Rise Up Supplements. Rise Up Supplements is a nootropic line aimed at optimizing brain function and supporting mental health. They have two powerful blends. Mindful Mood helps decrease anxiety and enhance mood. Mind Shift helps increase focus and optimize brain function. Check out their website at riseupsups.com. That's riseups.com. At checkout, punch in podcast 20 for a listener exclusive 20% off your entire order. We appreciate both of those agencies sponsoring this podcast. All right, man, let's kick this thing off. So we've actually done episodes before, right? So Joe, it started off with you, episode 78, Behind the Music with Joe Nester. For those that are listening to this, go back, check out episode 78. That was a good time, man. And then
It was amazing.
Colicchie, we recently did one, episode 109. Episode 109, man. Oh, so if you guys haven't heard those, go back, check out the episodes that we've done in the past. 78 with Joe Nester, 109 with Colicchie, and 122 with all of us here today. I'm stoked. What I have kind of wondered is if I'm a fan of your guys's, which, yes, I definitely am, right? So I fall in this category. I kind of want to know, like, Chaz and Joe behind the scenes, right? So I know you both have significant others. I always love when people ask me about Mandy. So I'm going to ask you guys. Chaz, let's have you go first. How's Hannah doing, man?
She is doing excellent. Our relationship continues to grow. We still have not picked a date yet for the wedding. But yeah, I mean, it's such a beautiful life that I never would have imagined that I would have found someone that was right for me in so many words. I'm actually going to her home group, right after this, and I'll get to see her tonight. And then tomorrow I'll be with her all day because we actually have a speaker jam that we have to attend. And I don't know, it's just good. Our relationship's good. The whole family's good. The kids are good. My daughter's going to graduate preschool 2 days after we actually get home from Utah. So it's just going to be, it's going to be an eventful early June. So,
nice, man. Good for you. Look at the smile on Colicchie's face as he's talking about all that. Right. I love it, bro. I love it.
That's right.
All right, Joe. How's Faith? Love Faith, man. Love seeing you guys' pictures on Facebook, social media. How's Faith doing?
She's doing amazing, man. Like she's man, these past couple months have just been a little chaotic because we just got news this week that we are approved and everything, and we're getting ready to foster 2 little ones. One, Anna Lee, who's only 10 months old, and her brother Roz, who is 2 years old. And in the next few weeks, we'll be fostering them. So she's been busy, man, getting the extra room ready and just getting the house ready. Like, you know how women are, man. It's just as soon as that news came in, she's just like, you know, ready to go, you know, but she's amazing. Life is amazing. So
that's good, man. That's good for you both. Congratulations. That's incredible stuff.
you.
That's incredible stuff. You both have a lot to be thankful for. Both blessed dudes. Okay. So along these same grounds, hypothetical question, just getting to know you guys. Chaz, let's have you go first. You're hanging out on a Friday night with Hannah. What TV show series are you guys watching when you're Netflix and chilling or whatever, Apple TV or, you know, what do you guys usually watch, man?
I mean, honestly, it's so crazy, but she does not watch TV. Like she legit does not watch TV. I mean, we watch movies here and there, but they're always movies that I've seen 15 times, and she hasn't seen it all. So she's always asking me a million questions throughout it. But I mean, have watched basically anything that you could, you know, off the top of your head, from like midnight to 2 a.m. because I'm like kind of a night owl. That's like when I'll watch TV, and I've seen it all.
Nice, man. Nice. So it's too funny. Me and Mandy are kind of the same way. I'm a little bit older than her, and like we'll just be chopping it up, right? And she'll be like, I'll be like, have you heard of this? You know, have you seen this movie? Or like, what was the one? Gladiator, Braveheart. There's been a couple of them, and she's like, I've never seen it. I'm like, oh, we gotta watch that, right?
Yeah, I love her to death. But it was like, even a couple months ago, I forget what we were talking about, but I was like, I don't even know how Woodstock came up, but I was like, yeah, you know, it was like Woodstock, and she was like, Woodstock, and I was like, yeah, you know, the huge concert, you know, in 1969, and it was, you know, legendary and all that, and she had no idea what I was talking about. I mean, in her defense, though, she is a lot younger than me, but still, I don't know.
Yeah, too funny, man, too funny. Cool. All right. So Joe, same question. You and Faith are hanging out, kicking it on a Friday or Saturday night, right? What are you guys watching?
So we go back and forth. We take turns who picks the movies, and normally like she likes these movies that are usually like has to do something with like kidnapping or private investigations,
murder mystery shows
like that. Yeah, murder mysteries, stuff like that. And I know I'm like 10 years sober and clean, but I'm the guy who still wants to watch like American Gangster or like Donnie Brasco, like these old, like Goodfellas and old gangster mob movies. Like that's just my thing.
Nice. I love it. So you guys kind of take turns, pick out each, you know what I mean? Different weeks, different shows. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you guys have Apple TV by chance?
I don't. I have like everything except for Apple TV, and I have all Apple products. So you would think that I would have it, but I don't.
Dude, there are 2 shows on Apple TV that me and Mandy have been binge watching, right? We love them. The first one, Shrinking. It's like about this therapist that is a complete train wreck. Like he just does not have his life together whatsoever. His wife recently passed away. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. And then the other one, I'm not like a video game guy, but it's called Mythic Quest. And it's about this company that makes video games and just all the dysfunction. It's kind of like The Office, I guess, only for like a video game, you know, you get to know the different. Yeah. Anyways, cool, man. So put it on the bucket list. You'll have to check out Apple TV and give one of those a shot. All right. So what's that? Oh, you good? Okay. I thought you had something. Okay, so let's get to. We've kind of hinted. We've talked about. Well, that was before Sean hit play. We talked about you guys coming to Utah, right? We got 2 major events. We're about a week out. This time next week, you'll both be in Utah. So let's talk about them. Joe, why don't you hit us with the first one?
So the first one is in Ogden, Utah, June 3rd, SJS. And I think it's at the Ogden Amphitheater.
Yeah, buddy.
And I think it starts at 11 a.m. It's going to go all day, man. It's just, I had the pleasure of coming out last year and performing, and man, it was just an amazing time. like seriously, the scenery, the people, like the fun, the fellowship, everyone that was involved. It was an amazing time. And from the looks of it, this year is going to be even bigger. So I'm super excited. So yeah, June 3rd in Ogden, Utah at the Ogden Amphitheater at 11 a.m.
Yeah, Chantel knows how to throw a recovery party, right? Town in the park, baby.
Dude, Chantel, Valley Camp, like man, dude, there's some good people.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Just last week I had her on as a guest and she shared kind of the story behind SJS and all that stuff. It was good. So if you live in northern Utah, my people, if you live in northern Utah, come out to the Ogden Amphitheater June 3rd. It starts at 11 o'clock. It's going to go all day. We have both Chaz, a.k.a. Colicchie, and Joe Nester that are going to be headline performing at that event. And then Chaz, if you want to take the second one the next day, 6 hours later.
Yeah, so the next day, 6 hours later, if you live in southern Utah, is presentation called a recovery concert, and it is in St. George, Utah. And it obviously is in June 4th, starts at 7 o'clock. And I don't know. I know that I truly am excited to even just be in the vicinity of Utah because I've never been there. And I just hear nothing about how beautiful it is. And I don't know. It's just always such every time I'm afforded the opportunity to even go to any type of event, and share my music and my experience and my strength and my hope, I always go with trying to portray, some type of message. And I don't know. It's always good, the solidarity, the unity every time that we get together, for events like this. So, if you're in the area or even if you're in Nevada or California or Arizona or want to travel to come see us perform, it's going to be so much more than just Joe and I performing. So
absolutely,
just give it a chance and come out, and it might be the life-saving message that you need that day.
Hey, well said, man. I love the shout outs to the surrounding states. We actually have, so I'm pretty pumped about this. This is the first time that I've actually headed an event like this. I don't think in St. George, Utah, it's a small town in the, the bottom west corner of Utah, has ever seen an event like this. So it's going to be crazy. It's on a Sunday, June 4th, 7 p.m. There's going to be people from everywhere across the nation coming for the Aaron Navarro softball memorial tournament. So while you're here and you're in town, those people are recovery people. Come out to the concert, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've already sold a couple hundred tickets. If you go to our Facebook page, We Do Recover with Jared Miller, you can see the flyer, scan the QR code, get yourself some tickets. Quick little shout out to our sponsors for that event. Our platinum package is and again, this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for these people. So I do want to give them their moment to just say thank you. And we're extremely grateful. In a platinum package, Extra Mart, Chevron, thank you guys so much. Gold package, Cloud9 Vapor, thank you guys. Thank you. Fit to Recover, thank you. Acadia School and Spa, really appreciate it. In the silver sponsorship package, Rise Up Supplements, we really appreciate it. Colt Equity, the Right Real Estate Group. And again, if it wasn't for the amazing sponsors, we wouldn't be able to put on these type of events and get high quality people like Colicchie and Joe Nester coming out. So we just really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Cool. All right. I'm looking forward to that. That's 1 week away.
I know.
That's crazy, man.
It came quick.
Literally, I remember the last episode when we were talking on this. What was it? Episode 78? Is that 78? What you said it was?
Yep.
Dude, I remember after that episode talking to you and just being like, dude, we need to figure out a way to get you out to my neck of the woods, and just kind of setting the ball in motion and to just watch you put in the work, and obviously all the sponsors and everyone who came together to support this, and just to watch everything come to fruition and make this actually happen. It's amazing. And I can't wait to come out and rock the house with you guys. So
thanks, man. Well, I'm super stoked. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Chaz, I know you haven't been to Utah before. Super excited to have you out. I think that you're going to love it. You're going to fall in love. Now, listen, we have 2 different events, 2 different days. We are in the top of Utah, northern Utah. So Wyoming, Idaho, some of those neighboring states, come out to Talent in the Park at the Ogden Amphitheater, June 3rd. If you're in the next day, June 4th, those surrounding states that Colicchie called out in southern Utah, come out to St. George, Utah. It's going to be the Cox Performing Arts Building, which is a beautiful big stage. We already got the video. We got the big old video screen behind you guys. We're going to be playing, some videos of you guys' music videos while you guys are out performing. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait. Well, we've talked about you guys. I appreciate it. Let's get to some of the music. You guys cool with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to do a little round robin here, a little Russian roulette. I'm going to ask my guy, Sean Denovan, to cue up our first song here. Some of you fans, you probably noticed this one. We're going to hear from Joe afterwards.
Things never be the same. My whole life has changed. Put away these childish games. Living out my wildest dreams. Everything I've ever known. All the things I've ever owned.
Yeah, let's cut that. Thank you, Sean. Whoo! You hear the passion in that voice. All right, Joe, what was that song and when did you write it? Let's get the details behind it, buddy.
The nitty gritty. All right. So that song is actually the song that set my music career in motion. It's Never Gonna Take My Soul. That's the name of it. And I actually originally wrote that song in 2009, sitting in a prison cell, facing some pretty serious charges. And I wasn't sure if I was going to make it back home, to be honest. With my previous record and everything. And I was looking at a lot of time in prison and, that thought, of never being able to come home again, is very defeating, to say the least. And, as reality set in, I just remember thinking to myself, sitting in that cell, like, man, dude, like my freedom's gone, but something inside of me said, like, you could take the house, you could take the car, you can take all these material things from me. But I'm smart enough to know that, like, it's much deeper than that. The real war is spiritual warfare, and it's over our souls. And no matter where I'm sitting at, whether it's, in a nice home, with my family, or if I'm sitting in a prison, one thing you can never take is you can never take my soul. You know what I mean? Because I put my trust in God. And I ended up writing this song, and obviously, I got released and I ended up getting clean and sober, and I put that on my first album, and it just kind of took off, man. And to see the impact that it's had on all these people all over the world, it's just crazy, man.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's incredible, bro. Thank you for sharing that. So when you sent me the clip that we're going to be playing at the recovery concert, it's got you like tapping on like a prison cell door. And I didn't even recognize you, man. I was like, holy cow, who's this young kid? And you're like looking over at the camera, kind of nervous. And that was like, you're right. That was like the start, right? Because then fast forward to some of your other stuff where it looks like you're just in paradise in Florida. I mean, just to see the growth was crazy. Crazy, absolutely, man. Crazy.
Absolutely, man.
Colicchie, what do you think of Never Gonna Take My Soul by Joe Nester?
I absolutely love it. Such a powerful song. And I don't know, even as we were playing that, I was thinking of How Many Times, a song by him. And we had the opportunity to go on tour in 2019. And out of all 5 of us, out of all the songs that I know and hear, that's the one that reminds me of that month of October the most. It's whenever I listen to that. And it is, I don't remember exact, because Joe and I met pretty after you released that. We met pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Like right after that, correct?
After I released what? Never Gonna Take My Soul?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was shortly after that.
And we met in Baltimore, correct?
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So 2000 and like late 17 or 2000 early or 2018 early.
No, it was 2017.
No?
It was it? Yeah. I think it was late summer of like 2017.
Okay. Yeah.
So you guys have known each other and been friends for over 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's way awesome.
Crazy.
All right, in this first segment, we got about 4.5 minutes. We're going to let about 1:15 of this next one play on our next little Russian roulette. Name that song. If you're listening on Facebook, type in the title. Give a shout out to my guy Colicchie. Here he is.
See, everybody got a story to tell. Well, here's mine. My pain's deep, I've been through hell. I managed to survive, so I got a story to tell. Listen, I stand victorious, make the sign of the cross. Look, I'm here to be the voice for every friend I've ever lost. Let me pray as I put together my hands. I've never been ashamed to tell you the person I am. When it comes to doing drugs, I've never been a rookie, but hold up. Let me tell you about the places that they took me. I haven't showered, it's been possibly a week, and I'm so deep in a psychosis, impossible to speak. That coke is in my arm,
Okay, let's roll that one down. All right, Chaz, aka Colicchie, what was that song? And let's get the grit behind it.
That song was called Drug Addiction, and I don't know. I just my music has always been about addiction and recovery to an extent. Even songs before that, I had songs like Feel It in the Air, and I had songs like Paradise that were real descriptive as far as, the lengths I went in my addiction. But I don't know. I just randomly one day heard this freestyle about this guy just talking about his life. And I was like, you know what? I should just do something like that, but do a very detailed version of it. And however long it, because back then, well, even today, but back then I used to love to make, really long songs. And that's just what I did. And when I first started writing, I was talking about, active addiction and, the life that I lived. And then like halfway through the song, I was like, you know what, I should really find a solution. There should be a solution, in this song. And that's exactly what I did, because I wasn't exactly living that lifestyle at that moment. I was just describing where I was coming from. So it was really important for me to put the emphasis on how I was living today, to let people know. And to be honest, I thought that song was going to do good. And when I say good, I just meant like it was going to do, better than, my previous songs. And, I never in a million years thought that it would go as far as it has. And, even today talking to my sponsor, and I mentioned about going to Utah, next week. And he was like, you never pictured this. And I was like, I never, ever would have pictured my life like this. And honestly, it just came from a lot of hard work and dedication and motivation and just grinding, man, just grinding for 10 years without an audience, and just kept making songs and just kept putting stuff out there, being as honest as possible, not caring what people thought, about people judging me. And by doing that, I really did find the freedom. I found freedom from self. And yeah.
Colicchie, I was going to say, man, I think that's like the first time I heard Drug Addiction, I was like, dang, he went there, right? Like it is very raw. It is very gritty. It's just the cold, hard truth. And the way that it sounds, there's so much passion behind it. Like you could tell that it was very meaningful. You were telling your story. I'm done talking. Joe, help me out here. What did you think of Colicchie's song Drug Addiction? You remember when you first heard it, and it's got that shock factor, bro.
I still to this day remember exactly where I was at the first time I heard that song. I was in a phone room working an insurance job for car warranties in South Florida.
Yes.
And I heard this song and immediately had goosebumps because everything that he was talking about, I mean, it was so raw. And so, I mean, there was parts in it that were vulgar, you know what I mean? As far as like the specifics of drug addiction.
Yeah, he gets
it. Man, dude, it's just amazing, man. Seriously.
Thank you, Joe. We've ran out of time in this first little segment, but don't worry. We got 25 minutes coming back right after this break.
You are listening to We Do Recover with Jared Miller and co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. We'll be right back after this short break with more of We Do Recover with Jared Miller. Brought to you by High Desert Counseling, Rise Up Supplements, and the Hilton Garden Inn.
High Desert Counseling is an adult outpatient substance abuse treatment facility. We offer multiple services including day treatment, morning and evening intensive outpatient services, continuing care, and Prime for Life. What makes us different is our emphasis on gathering all of the information before enrollment. We do this by offering a thorough evaluation by a credentialed professional. Once we have committed to you and you have committed to us, don't worry, insurance will not dictate your treatment. Lastly, the pretzel effect. We are a brief intervention where we connect our clients to community, mental health, and medical professionals to help maintain recovery for life after treatment. At High Desert Counseling, we strive to be the bridge from active addiction to recovery, community, and connection.
We welcome you back to We Do Recover with Jared Miller, co-hosted by Dr. Terry Sellers. Brought to you by High Desert Counseling, Rise Up Supplements, and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn. And now with part 2 of our podcast, Jared Miller and Dr. Terry Sellers.
And we're back, everybody. We are back, baby. Episode 122, part 2 is brought to us by the Hilton Garden Inn. It is always sunny and bright at the Hilton Garden Inn. Listen, if you or a loved one is traveling to southern Utah, like Joe Nester and Colicchie are just getting ready to do next week, give the Hilton Garden Inn a Google search. Type in Hilton Garden Inn, St. George, Utah. They have amazing amenities, beautiful place. I probably shouldn't. That may or may not be the place where our artists are going to be staying while they're in town. I apologize ahead of time, guys, if you guys get flocked there. Oh man, yeah. So we love the Hilton. The Hilton takes care of us. So let's jump back into it. Joe, we just heard Drug Addiction by Colicchie. You were saying you were selling insurance. Yeah. It came on. It spoke to you, probably because you've lived that too, right?
So that's what I was getting ready to say, man. Like, I'm sitting in this phone room selling extended auto warranties in South Florida. Like, I had just started writing, music about my addiction and stuff like that. And here comes this guy named Colicchie with this song, Drug Addiction. And it gives me goosebumps, literally all up and down my arms. Because the things that he was talking about, like, yeah, I said it was raw, a little vulgar, but that's drug addiction, Mm-hmm. And, talking about the abscesses, talking about, like, the crest white strips boosting and stuff like that. And that was the life that I lived prior to coming into recovery. And everything that he was talking about was so spot on. And it was just so raw and so emotional that it immediately struck a chord with me. And of course, it had that beat, that infamous beat in the background that I just.
Oh, yeah.
It was just, it was well crafted, to say the least. And like, at first I'm looking at the song, I'm like, bro, this song is like half of an album, like the length. And I'm like, there's no way, you know what I mean? But I literally sat there and listened to the whole song word for word. And it was an amazing song. So it's no wonder it has the traction that it has and has made the impact, man.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a shocker when I first heard it. I can remember I was in Layton, Utah. And my buddy was like, have you heard of that? Whoop-de-whoop. And I'm like, what? No. He played it, and I was like, dang. Yeah, it was crazy. So you guys also, you do a lot of music about addiction, substance abuse, right? Your guys' experiences with it. You also do some mental health stuff. Mm-hmm. So with that being said, let's go, Sean. We're going to throw out the Russian roulette because we might jump around for a sec. Let's get Anxiety by Joe Nester. Dude, love the guitar. Man.
Nobody to run to, nobody to call, nobody to save me from this wrecking ball. Inside my head, inside my brain, controlling thoughts, driving me insane. So clip my wings and watch me fall, and burn through the sky until I lose it all. No, it's too late, there's no stopping now. I've tried a million times, but I don't know how. So I'm cutting the brakes, and I'm picking up the pace as my mind starts to race, and I'm trying to erase all the negative things I can't change,
that
but
beat,
my brain is all
boy.
over the place, and really I just want to stand still. I just want to
All
live
right,
my
let's
life
fade
without
that out. Thank you, Sean. Oh, Anxiety by Joe Nester. Joe, let's talk about that for a second. That it changes up a couple different times there, dude. It's yeah. Talk to me. Let's get the details behind Anxiety.
I mean, it kind of like resembles the same thing, kind of like what people go through who deal with anxiety. You know what I mean? So I wanted to emulate that energy into the song. It's kind of all over the place. You know what I mean? You have these slow parts, you have these aggressive parts, you have these rap parts, you have these singing parts. But it's the same thing that I'm talking about, these controlling thoughts that are in my mind. And man, dude, if we go back to where I was at mentally when I wrote that song, I actually wrote it while Chaz, and this is while we were on tour in 2019.
Oh, wow.
And I had so much going on in my personal life. You know, I had our Faith and I's oldest daughter and her boyfriend staying with us, and her boyfriend was struggling with drugs and alcohol at the time. And we were trying to get him into treatment and dealing with all that while I'm on tour, trying to find him a bed somewhere. And dealing with so many other things in my personal life. And then, you know, going on stage, I suffer from social anxiety. And I think Chaz can testify to this, dude. We used to pray before I would go on stage because I would get so like anxious before I would go on stage that I would literally get on there and like the first 5 minutes, I'd be so nervous looking at the crowd and looking at everybody that I'd forget my own words to my own songs, you know? And that's just the things that I was going through just because I had so much going on in my life. And so that song, that was just a way, like, music has always been a therapeutic outlet for me. And I wrote that song literally while we were on tour in 2019, and it just kind of like blew up out of nowhere.
So, Joe, it probably doesn't help the anxiety when you fly to northern Utah and there's a lot of trees and there's a lot of dust and it's a mountainy range and you gotta text the MC the day of and you're like, man, I'm having allergies and my throat's swollen and I don't sound right. You remember that last year?
Dude, that was so
there's
bad.
a little behind the scenes story. So Colicchie, let's give you some advice, bro. Bring some Claritin, maybe a neti pot, right? The allergies are real here. You know what I mean? We got a lot of plants.
Yeah, I can deal with the anxiety of allergies and stuff like that. But no, everything Joe just said, I relate to this day. I still relate to a degree. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's gonna. I've gotten a lot better doing shows and stuff like that. But I don't know. Anxiety is so tricky, and it's so. It is just so sneaky. You know, and
yeah, it's a subtle foe. It like creeps in, you know, and if
Yep.
you don't catch it in time, it can spiral, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of that, Colicchie, you got a song. Sean Denneman's going to get it pulled up for us. Let's go with mental health. Mental health.
I can't help it. I wish I could turn my mind off. Just once, even for just a moment. I wish I didn't think the way I do. It's like I'm stuck. You know, why do I choose to believe the lies I tell myself? It never stops. I'm just constantly putting myself down. I'm feeling like I'm drowned in my surroundings. I'm searching for that acceptance, I haven't found it. I'm having trouble breathing from everything that is happening. I'll go without support before I ever have to ask again. These bottled emotions, I'm opening them now. I'm living reckless till I'm throwing in the towel. The recipient of torture, why do I do this to myself? Why do I put myself down then refuse to ask for help? I'm hanging on through all the hurricanes and thunderstorms. I'm yelling I am strong, then I smack it with an underscore. I could run away, but I would rather face my problems as I'm dealing with my depression from winter time to autumn.
All right, let's roll that down. Man, Colicchie, whew. There's a glimpse, a little inside look of the mind of Colicchie at times, huh? So Joe's was on anxiety. I heard you mention, mental torture and depression in there. Let's get the details behind mental health by Colicchie.
You know, and I believe that addiction and mental health go hand in hand. You know, for so many of us, you know, I'm just speaking from my own experience, but you know, I think the self-medicating that comes along with drugs and alcohol, you know, was the absolute lifesaver, you know, back then. But then, you know, it really did become the problem, and it became my problem very quickly, you know. But even when I got clean, you know, and all my attempts at getting clean and all that, I still would get, you know, these just these uncomfortable feelings and this depression and this anxiety and these, you know, torturous thoughts towards myself, you know, and in so many words, you know, it is almost like, you know, addiction trying to attack me, you know, and telling me that I'm nothing, regardless of the love and support that I have in my life. And, you know, and everyone could be saying good things about me, but it's just still what I always think about myself. And, you know, and at times I would just really struggle with that, you know, even when I was, you know, living my best, meaning like, you know, truly living in God's will and just, you know, not harming anybody, helping others. It's just something that could just always creep up on me, you know, but like, I truly am, you know, proud to say that, like, I don't know, the last couple years, you know, my depression has pretty much been completely eradicated. Like, I have these down moments and I have these intervals that are real small where I might, you know, get that anxiety where it feels like that pressure on my chest. But, you know, 95% of my moments throughout my day, I don't know. I feel okay. I feel okay. Am I comfortable in my own skin? That's what I wanted my entire life, was to just be, you know, be completely sober and just be comfortable in my own skin and just be able to do what I have to do and handle my business and just be a productive member of society. And, you know, it's taken a lot of work to get where I am today, but it was so worth it. Absolutely so worth it.
Man, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Joe, can you relate, man?
100%, man. I agree with, I mean, most of Colicchie's songs I can relate to, you know, and this is no different, you know, especially when it comes to, you know, regardless of, you know, I know it talks about, you know, drowning in your surroundings, you know, and a lot of times, you know, we, like Chaz was saying, you know, we had these people, you know, no matter how much they try to love on us, no matter, you know, they try to lift us up, they speak these positive things to us, you know, almost like we're our own worst critics, you know, not just as musicians, but just as recovering addicts and just as people in general. And I think it comes from addiction, you know, like we had this sense of like kind of low self-esteem. We kind of beat ourselves up and then refusing to ask for help. You know, we put those thoughts start to come in. And regardless of what people are telling us, we start to believe the lies that the enemy tells us, and it kind of shuts us down. And it's almost debilitating to where you can't even ask for help if you don't catch it. You know.
Yeah.
So I definitely relate to it.
Well said. Well said. And Colicchie stated something that I mean, that this is what I do, right? As a substance abuse counselor, it's like, is it the chicken or the egg? You know, does the mental health cause the drugs, or did the drugs cause the mental health? And at the end of the day, you know, that both arguments on both sides could be valid, right? And so, yeah, man, it's mental health is something I'm, especially after this pandemic that we went through, you know what I mean, a few years back there, that everybody's a little bit more aware of. And I think with artists like yourselves putting songs out there like anxiety and mental health and talking about this stuff, Like it sparks conversations. It sparks discussions. It combats that stigma of mental health and substance abuse. Like it makes it so that we can have conversations about it and people feel like they're not so shamed. And you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, this is how I look at it. I think a lot of us and most of us suffer with it to a certain degree. You know what I mean? And me, like I said, like the music is like a therapeutic outlet for me, you know? So like when I have this darkness or whatever, and it starts to feel like it's overwhelming to the point where the darkness is starting to consume me, I have to get it out. I have to write about it. Because when I write about it and I speak about it and I put it out there, it's almost like it brings that darkness to the light, and it can spark that conversation to where you don't feel alone. So,
yeah, well stated. What you got for me, Colicchie?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was just sitting here thinking about that in general, just about how, I don't know, like my mental health and how it's played a part on me, you know, whenever I first got clean, and even to this day, you know, so when I first like put down the drugs and alcohol, you know, I still, and I will like, you know, I will talk about this to anyone I talk about, and it's just my own personal experience, but I was still left with this giant void inside of me that I didn't exactly even really know what it was. And, you know, so once I put down the drugs and alcohol, I really was still left with me. You know, I thought it was that simple. I just quit using. My life was going to be amazing, and that's that. You know, but then I'm left with all these, you know, these ideas and these attitudes and these behaviors and these defects and all these things that want to suffocate me, you know, while I'm clean. And if I'm not filling that void with spiritual things, if I'm not filling it with, you know, my own personal relationship with God, you know, and benevolence and, you know, and helping others and stuff along them lines, then I'm either like, you know, feeding the bad dog, or like I'm feeding the good one. And the more that I would, you know, do bad stuff, and I just meant like acting out on behaviors, whatever it is, gambling, you know, cheating, whatever it would be.
Yeah, the unmanageability.
That's gonna pull me down and drown me faster, and that is going to magnify the feelings that I'm already feeling, you know, if you're someone like me. And so it just was always good about just being cautious of my decisions, and, you know, and being very cautious of, you know, things that I did, because it really does, you know, affect someone like me in the long run. And just always trying to stay centered. Like that's my goal today, is to just always try and stay centered with God, and just be a good person, and, you know, be a good family man. And I'm serious, when I really focus on that type of stuff, the acceptance and the surrender, all this stuff in my life just comes almost naturally, you know, and it just, life is so much easier and it's so much smoother when I'm not going against the grain.
Yeah, man. I love that. I love that. Two concepts that I always make sure that each one of my clients understand clearly is powerlessness. I'll just summarize it real quick. One is too many and 1,000's never enough. If you make it into a substance abuse treatment facility, your brain has been hijacked. You can no longer use recreationally. You can no longer drink socially. That's just not a thing for us anymore. The second piece that I always push onto people is exactly what Colicchie's talking about and Joe's talking about right now. It's the unmanageability. It's dealing with our defects of character. It's dealing with those emotions that make us uncomfortable and make us want to run back to the substance abuse. If we can acknowledge that one's too many and 1,000's never enough, and we can learn how to deal with the unmanageability of our own thoughts and emotions in our lives, we do recover. Boom.
yes.
Let's get back to the music, fellas. I love it, man. This is good conversation. Whoo!
Yes.
Man, everybody practice a little 12-step and share this out, man. Continue to spread the word. Ooh, this is good stuff. Okay, I actually am going to get a little selfish here. We got about 8 minutes left. You each have a song. Man, I'm going to try not to get emotional. You guys both know, you know, you're friends of mine that me and Mandy recently lost our baby girl. And I can say in the 8+ years, I'm coming up on 9, my life in recovery today, I've gone through some hard things. This was probably top 1 or 2 hardest thing I've gone through. And in kind of some of those moments of despair, I looked for inspiration. I looked for something to kind of help me get through it. And anyways, let's get to it. I just want Joe Nester, thank you so much, man. Like when you wrote this song, it touched me in a way in my time of need, and I needed it. So I want to say thank you. And Sean
Love you,
Donovan,
brother.
if you could roll Hold Her. Beautiful song, man.
I don't ever wanna be someone I'm not. Walking around and bragging about everything that I ain't got. Just a simple guy, I don't lie to please, and that's the truth. I'm just fine with a couple of lines, sitting down at the lake with you. Hold her, sitting on the dock, screaming life ain't over. Hold her, just a little bit closer. Hold her, reaching for the top, screaming life ain't over.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Man, I heard that song probably the second day after Mandy miscarried, and man, it just reminded me of like what was important, you know. So thank you, I appreciate it. And you guys sent gifts, like, man, you and Faith, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys.
We love and appreciate you too, brother. And you guys have been in our prayers more than you know.
Talk to me
just
about.
know that, man.
Yes, thank you, bro. I can't wait to give you a big hug, and Faith a big hug. Talk to me about Hold Her. That's a different style, man. It's a different, right? Like you.
It is. It's like that. It's got that country feel, you know, and that's just kind of like, I don't want to be boxed in as far as genres or specific types of music, you know, like I know that I'm known in the recovery community, and which is great, you know, but here's the thing. The thing is there's life outside of recovery as well, you know, and the Lord blessed me with an amazing woman, you know, who most days I feel like I don't deserve, you know. I am blessed beyond measure. And man, dude, it's just such a special song. And it just came out. It had that country feel when I started writing about it. I'm like, dude, well, most country songs are about girls, you know, either that or it's about like pickup trucks, you know, but
Yeah.
But man, just Hold Her, man. It's just, it's simple, but it's the truth, man. I'm just a simple guy, you know, and I don't want to lie, you know, about everything that I don't have, you know, and to be honest with you, I don't care about any of that, you know, because I have an amazing woman, you know, and I have more than I'll ever need with her, you know, and that's what truly matters. So no matter what I go through in life, I'm just going to hold her, man.
I love it, man.
It's about.
Yeah, so. It was a beautiful song. It was a beautiful song. Colicchie, I haven't forgotten about you, man. One of your songs that I recently that I listened to around the same time. Let's have Sean Denvin go ahead and load up Hope by Colicchie.
Colicchie.
Maybe together, you and me find it. I know things will get better. You'll find work it out, get promoted, and we'll move out of the shelter. Buy a bigger house and live in the suburbs.
Listen, I always say that I've been through worse, but there's been times in my life where that pain was a first. Yelling at the sky like God and my curse, like why am I alive? Why am I not under dirt? All days amazed as I try to find a purpose, as I constantly investigate but only scratch the surface. I'm done taking, now it's time to be a servant. Striving to be perfect, it has always left me nervous. I know my worth, I know what I deserve. My grip's gotta be firm when that tragedy does occur. And look, I finally got a taste of that thing that I've always wanted. I'm the living definition of turning nothing to something. That agony, I know it all too well. I only thought about myself.
Thank you, Sean. Hope by Colicchie. So let me tell you this real quick before I have you speak on it. Some of those words, yelling at God, right? Like I can relate to being angry. I think Joe was doing a go live one day, and he was talking to, you know, Joe's a guy. He's a Christian guy, right? And I remember being angry, you know, and I've gotten over that. But man, this also too, and then you know, just the reflection on making something out of nothing. I could relate to that. So man, you guys, this is the real thing, right? Like, this is what it's about. You guys write music that you're going through. Other people can relate, and it's powerful. This was a little different for you, Colicchie. We got about 2 minutes left. Talk to me. This is a more upbeat for you. This is like a vibe, man.
It is. It is. I wrote that song. I had a little under a year clean, and I wrote that. I wrote the majority of it on a beach in Myrtle Beach, and I don't know. I just wanted to talk about. I mean, that's what we really all want, is hope. I mean, that's what I always wanted, was to just have a promising future and to just know that everything was going to be okay. And for someone like myself, my hope turns into faith, and I don't know, it's just easier to walk through life when I have like just that sense of faith that everything is going to be okay. And I feel like I finally got to a position and a point in life that, kind of how we talked about all night, regardless of what's going on around me, that everything truly is going to be okay. If I have family, and if I have love, and if I have, just even my music outlet. And I don't know, I just wanted to spread some hope. And the last line of the song, like, hold on, pain ends, like, it's just the acronym behind it, is so true. Because I was the type that I would put so much emphasis on a certain feeling that I was feeling at that moment, neglecting that tomorrow was going to live to see brighter days.
Absolutely.
And that's just what it's all about. Even to this moment right now, regardless of how I feel, if I don't screw up, then tomorrow I have a better chance at this.
Thank you guys both. Listen, we've talked about some of their older stuff. Go to Joe Nester. Check out Joe Nester has Unfair Advantage, and Colicchie has Lifeline. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you for joining us today on We Do Recover with Jared Miller.
Help us spread our message of hope. Like, comment, and share.
If you have any topics or ideas for future shows, please share that on our Facebook page.
That Facebook page is We Do Recover with Jared Miller. If you or a loved one needs help, please reach out to us. Again, thank you for listening.
Brought to you by High Desert Counseling, Rise Up Supplements, and the St. George Hilton Garden Inn.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast do not reflect those of its sponsors. This has been a production from A Podcast Studio.